Welcome to another Monday night of Chewin the BBQ Fat. As you can tell from this head of hair, I am not Brian Jarvis. He's taking tonight off. So, tiresome day at the ballpark, so I wanted to fill in. We're going to talk some great guests we have on here tonight. So, Hank, where'd we go, buddy? Beautiful face over here. Well. So we're going to hit a little bit of Memphis and May style, which is also transitioning over to Kansas City. We've got true blue Kansas City style on with Pig and Whiskey OG. So before I get rambling tonight, let me bring these guys on and introduce you. First, we're going to go with age and beauty over here, a combination. You guys know Hank Vaden, what a Hank's Championship Barbecue. Hank, if you would, introduce yourself to the few people that has not met you yet, if you don't mind, sir.
Hi, I'm Wes Garrett, politically incorrect barbecue.
Okay, good enough. That's Championship Barbecue right there.
How about Hank Vaden, Hank's Barbecue?
All right. Tell us about when you got started, Hank. Give us a little more than that.
Well, it was 1917 on a cold wintry day as we crossed the river. And we had to rub sticks together, so that's how it all began.
Oh, that's good stuff. It still hasn't changed much, I'm guessing.
Been doing that since 1996. Competing mainly Memphis and May when we first started. Then it transitioned to Memphis Barbecue Network, and we've crossed over doing a little bit of KCBS and just cooking all of it. We cook a little bit of all of them.
All right. We'll get more into that as well, but really excited to introduce. I just met Josh up in Union City, Tennessee. Appreciate his kindness in coming over. I think we were the last two in the lot before we were getting ready to leave. And I'm correct me, fiance, correct? Ashton? Okay. And Ashton Smith. This is Pig and Whiskey OG. And you got to make sure you put the OG on there, because if not, there's a whole nother team out there that is Pig and Whiskey. So if you guys, Josh, Ashton, you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and letting everybody know a little bit about you.
So I'm Josh Farley, Pig and Whiskey OG, former member of the other Pig and Whiskey. I used to live on the East Coast, and Brant and I started Pig and Whiskey probably 2015. Kind of cooked on the East Coast circuit for a while, and then about 2.5 years ago, I moved back to Kansas City, where I decided to start up Pig and Whiskey OG we live in Oak Grove, Missouri, so we thought it was fitting that it would be OG. When I first met Ashton, she didn't know what barbecue was about and competition. The first competition she ever went to, she was scared to even look at a box, let alone put the kale or anything or parsley in the box. And she was scared, terrified.
I thought he was crazy. It was almost a deal breaker.
And now I see you are entrenched in it. I mean, I'm watching videos with you on there. You're with child. We're ready to go, and you're still in there going with them. That is phenomenal. So yep. I'm guessing now you're the crazy one on this. Am I right?
100%. I'm the 8-month pregnant one that is traveling.
That will not give it up. I mean, you're steadily going.
I keep telling him, this is it. And then I'm like, oh, we got to do this one. He thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah, I asked him the day exactly when you were going. He was like, we're going to try to get one more in before this thing is due. So,
yeah,
we're heading to Holdridge, Nebraska for the double. It's supposed to be
90 degrees.
And luckily, we got our good friends Man Meat Barbecue. They're going to be up there, so I know they're going to have a pool. So we're probably going to put her in the pool with mini meat and let her sit there for a while, or boil. Depends on how you look at it.
I see that Man Meat and Triple H now, they're kind of competing over the best front porch area in barbecue. Gotta love it. So if you don't mind, I want to get into, I know you said you were originally with Pig and Whiskey. You moved to Oak Grove. Tell me a little bit about what caused you to get back into it. You moved out. Just give us a little back history on that.
It's a 100% competitive thing. It's worse than a drug, right? Because once you hear your first name called, you're hooked for life, and it's a competitive deal. I've always had it in my blood to be competitive, whether it was wrestling in high school and in college, or, you know, just in the backyard, you know, my barbecue's better than yours, you know, it's always competitive. So
Absolutely.
it's just in my blood to be that way. And I got the support of,
he found someone as equally competitive.
yeah, even worse,
great.
I think some days.
Well, that's phenomenal. I want to dig into a little more of that later, but Hank, I got to jump over here. And I know I mentioned on the last show, you do, since 1996, you have mainly been MBN, Memphis Barbecue Network. You have decided, you see the trophies in the back, you have done a great job over there. You're going to come over here to my territory in this state and start picking on me a little bit. You just recently.
Yep, that's what they call me, old Phil Filler Hank.
Just recently jumped into one of his first few KCBS contests and knocks a grand out. And now I can't get him to come back out there to compete with me. Tell us a little bit about how that cook went, man, and do you expect to win so quick? I mean, you really haven't cooked KCBS in a long time, and then you jump back into it and you're killing it.
Haven't cooked KCBS since 2014. That was the last trophy I won. That was the cook that was kind of straight from hell. It was a bad start, vehicle problems, got there late. Cook went really well. We looked like the Beverly Hillbillies rolling in with a record. But cook went good. Last year we cooked 4 or 5, and we just kind of playing with seasonings and rubs and sauces and different things, just kind of feeling it out. And then we sort of decided this is what we're going to go with. And we went out, cooked Brookhaven, and it really went well for us. We was fortunate enough to grand. Unfortunately, we had to leave before the awards happened, so we really didn't find out till we was on the road later.
Great. Yeah, I remember you getting that call. I think I was the one who gave it to you. So
yeah,
it took about an hour to get you to believe it. So no, a great cook, man. Glad to have you over here. And I'm gonna give you a loaded question here, and I hate to admit it, or I hate to even put it up there to you, but what's getting you to come over to KCBS more? What got you motivated?
Well, you know, right now, and like with everything else, COVID has taken its toll on everything, and MBN has really not got a whole lot of contests. And so that's why we started going more to the KCBS side. They're actually not afraid of the COVID, so we decided to start doing more of those this year, since that's kind of what we all wanted to get back to cooking. So there we are.
Great. Still, what kind of cookers are you smoking on?
We're
currently
on the KCBS side. We're using pellet grills, Green Mountain pellet grills.
You've been with them the whole time, or?
Yeah, we've been with them the whole time. When we started back, we decided with the partnership we've got with Green Mountain, that was one of the kind of the deals, was to get back to cooking with the KCBS. We would use the pellet grills and use them exclusively just for the KCBS side of things.
Phenomenal. No, that's great. You going to stick with those, or are you thinking about incorporating something a little different, or what?
For right now, we're going to stick with those. We got a couple things in the works. Depends on which trailer I want to use. KCBS would want to stay a little more comfortable, and I kind of like using the RV style trailer than I do the big Memphis trailer. And but right now we're going to stay with pellet grills.
Great. Well, Josh, Ashton, let me ask you. I saw the videos. You guys are known for your chicken, obviously. I mean, trust me, I'm like everybody else. The Barbecue League, you jump on there. I try to listen to everything you guys do because it's phenomenal content. So is that what you guys have been known for? Is that just the chicken legs? What got you into that? And give me a little history on how'd you get so damn good with chicken legs?
So
it's tough for a lot of teams.
Yeah. So Brant and I experimented on the East Coast for about 2 years. Once we kind of heard that chicken legs were trying to take off, we kind of jumped ahead of the curve and started cooking them, refining the process. And try to tweak it here and there. What I found was the biggest important part of our processes is we're weighing all of our legs to get them within 5 to 10 grams of each other. So that way, if one's done, they're all going to be done. And
it's not serious, huh?
Yeah, in theory, right? And we cook on drums. And then we also have a backwoods, which we call the oven, because once everything gets wrapped, it goes in the oven, except for chicken. It's always on the drum.
Yep.
And that's what really kind of took us to that next level, especially last year. I mean, we did.
He hated trimming chicken and he didn't want to do it. So he gave me a rundown and I was like, this is satisfying. And so I started perfecting the process a little bit more because it was one thing he didn't like to do. So I figured if I'm going to do it, I better do it to the best that I can. And we managed to do 24 contests last year in 2020 during COVID. We went from 1 week we were in Wyoming, came home Monday, worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Thursday night we were in Mississippi. So we did a lot of traveling and it just became a routine with us and our chicken because it was so easy for us because it was once you get in the routine, you know what you're doing. So
I have a sneaky suspicion that Ashton is she is the OCD person of the team, I'm guessing.
Yep.
She gets everything perfectly laid out. Yeah, I can kind of pick up on that.
I'm just the guy that watched the pits. That's all I am.
I always tell him, I said, there's no way if something happened to him, would I be able to man those pits though?
See, I'm the only one that runs the pits.
That's the most important part. I couldn't even. He had to be out of town last week or for our last contest, and I had to get everything ready, and it was a disaster.
That's all right. You guys are usually top 10, and it doesn't matter. Usually, if you fall out, you're right. You're not falling far. So trust me.
Except this year. This year, there's some tough judges this year. We're having some. They were talking about that.
I've hit a few of those judges. I'm taking them out for you guys.
Those barbecue slumps.
Yeah, there's definitely barbecue slumps this year.
Yeah.
Oh, there's none of that. Well, some of us could have teams like Hank. How many you have on yours, Hank? Is it 18, 19 now?
23.
At least.
No, that's not true, Wesley. You know, we got me and 4 other guys, 5 total.
Great group of guys. I will admit it. Hope they don't watch the show. I don't want them to record this, but yeah, great group of people. So I do want to ask you guys, look, I want this to be, driven by the comments, questions for you guys. I'm going to jump to me here in just a moment. Anything you want to know? I didn't have an agenda. Just kind of want this to go where it goes. I want to introduce you guys. I mean, everybody out there really knows who you are anyway. Just kind of give a little background of how you started, what you have. And kind of what barbecue means to you guys. What's your end game? Hank, I feel like I know your end game, but I'll let you explain to everybody else. And Josh, Ashton, I want to know kind of where you want to go with this. I mean, what is the end game of this? Is it just competition? Is it restaurants and barbecue personality? What?
Who you want to go first?
Go ahead, Hank.
No, let them go first.
No, okay. Yeah, you better go because you might not get an answer in.
So when I started cooking with him in 2019, I told him if we're going to do this, we're going to do it. We're all in. I'm not going to be doing it half-assed. Excuse my language.
No, you're good.
And we're going to go all in. And I think we made goals. And we've hit a lot of our goals, like a perfect 180 and over 700. Then we ended up last year number 2 chicken in the world in KCBS, which was unbelievable and something that him and I thought would happen in 5 years of us doing this together, not our first year of doing
first
it
full
together.
year. Yeah.
So, our end goal, I would say we've kicked around opening a barbecue restaurant. I've been in the service industry almost my entire adult life. I know how restaurants go. That's why I'm a little bit like, whoa, I don't know.
Definitely food trucks in the near future. I think that's something that we could still manage to do a little bit when the baby's a little younger and not hitting the barbecue trail yet. But
yeah, it's hard. But always in barbecue, there's that competitive drive that I don't know if we'll ever stop, to be honest, unless we absolutely have to, because it's when you're not out there and everybody else is out there, you're like, serious FOMO. We could have been there. I wonder how we would have done, and it's just.
That was last weekend. We didn't cook. We didn't cook last weekend. And, I got home because I was in Seattle for a week and, I get home, I'm like watching the awards, live. There's a double up in Wisconsin. I'm like, we should have been there. And it's like,
I do the same thing.
That's why I don't know if they'll ever be, as far as the competition side, what's going to drive us out of it, if anything ever. Because obviously it's not being pregnant in the heat. Like I thought
coming on board.
When we found out we were pregnant, I was like, oh, our season's done. We're never going to do this. Well, and then look at us now. We're a month away from having this baby and we're still not over it. So,
yeah.
You're taking this right up to the date. I love it. Look, if you can squeeze in 2 more, go ahead, guys, do it.
Yeah,
we'll keep you posted on that one. We'll see how we come back from Holdridge. She might be driving back by herself because she's ready to kill me.
We scheduled our C-section actually a week after my due date because the week that the doctor wanted to do it, we're supposed to be at a double. And I told him we couldn't.
Unbelievable.
So.
Unbelievable.
That's dedication if I ever seen it. So
that's definitely true passion for sure.
Yeah.
So
because she said, well, we got to shut it down after the baby's born, right? Because she's going to have a C-section. But then today I heard her mumbling something about me going to find someone to go help me cook. I'm like, geez, she's going to kick me right out of the house after the first weekend, I think.
Ashton wants those points, Josh. That's what it is.
No, I want my turkey smoke points. I'm currently number 3 in turkey smoke.
Yep.
Well, you may have a challenger. My wife has done it one time and won it overall out of Cummings, Georgia, and she is hungry to get back into it. So she loves the turkey smoke. So she can't wait to do another one.
We did it in 2019 at the American Royal when they first introduced it. And we took 13th at the Royal with our turkey. And so we were like, wait, that was kind of cool. And then when they did it last year, we kind of dabbled in it when we could. And then this year, there's been now two that I have not been at, but every other turkey smoke we've competed in. So
she's trying.
That's awesome. Absolutely. Mr. Vaden, if you don't mind, man, I'd love to hear. I know what your end game is. Tell everybody else what we're planning on doing with this.
The end game. You know what my end game is. Well, competition barbecue has kind of got me where I'm at. As I said, we've been competing since '96. And now we've got the restaurant. Now, you guys, I'll give you a little advice. Your comp game will slow down with the restaurant somewhat. But yeah, we do the restaurant. We compete when we can. Unfortunately, that's one of the drawbacks of owning a restaurant. You have to kind of pick and choose when and where you can go. And the end result of it is I've never really been one. Of course, we've got my own line of products, and I've never really wanted to do that. But my son has shown a pretty big interest, so we're gonna start pushing Hank's products a little bit more, and we're gonna turn that over to him, kind of a passing of the torch, if you will. I've never really cared about selling my products and pushing them too hard. We sell them online and at the restaurant, but if he wants to do it, I'm all for it. But that's kind of what the end game. We're going to still compete as long as I'm able. I'm 118 now. I think I can go to 160. We're going to keep cooking. We're going to do the restaurant, and we'll let him sell products.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Houston will be really good at doing that. Bright young guy. He'll come on board and push it and do really well. So anyway, I kind of want to transition. We could talk about, a lot of different things. I know when we come on here on Mondays and Brian has people, he asks a lot of questions. Obviously, this is competition driven. So if you had one thing, and I truly mean, just not to be the cliche, if you had one thing to help a team out, what is it you would help them to start? I get a lot of questions of people say, I want to do it. I'm nervous. I want to do it. I don't have this. I'm putting you on the spot here because I didn't prep you guys before, but what's one thing that you had a new team or somebody maybe just did one, you say this would take you to the next level? What suggestion or what advice would you give that?
This would be perfect for you because you were walked into this thing blind.
That is a great setup right there. Seriously, she had no clue, and you
had no clue.
And now look.
Yeah, right.
Make sure you're financially ready to commit. It is not a cheap and easy sport, and it's something you will not make money at. So don't get discouraged when that happens, because I think a lot of teams think they can, especially newer teams, think they can come in and swoop in and make money, and you don't do barbecue to make money. So that's my probably number one advice to a new team. And then the second is go talk to your pro teams. One of our biggest things for us is if there's a new team at a comp, we're going to talk to them. We're going to be an open book. We're going to help them out. We've brought several new teams into our trailer and showed them what we do, because at the end of the day, they're the ones cooking the meat. So we could tell them everything and how to do it, but
I was going to ask you to interrupt here. That doesn't bother you guys? Y'all don't have that fear of, I need to keep something secret? And look, I feel like you, because you can lead people to water. They still have to cook it. You can lead them to every recipe you have. The bottom line is you still have to do that.
No, we are, for the most part, we just did our first class. We did a chicken and ribs backyard class in March. And it was really tough because after we did that class, everyone started asking us questions that to us, we just want to answer, but it's not fair to the people who took our class. So we had to refrain from answering. But if someone asks us how we do a box or something like that, we're going to show them. If they want advice on something, we're going to tell them. Or if their pork's not hitting and they ask us what's in our injection, we're going to tell them, because like I said, at the end of the day, they don't know how we season it exactly. They know what we use, but they don't know the layers that go on it or anything like that. So it's all about family to us. And I that's one thing I never want to do, is get so big that we can't give advice to people, because I was that person. I had no clue what we were doing. At one point, everybody was, that person that's sitting at the comp like, holy crap, these people in these big rigs and we're sitting here in a tent. You don't know what you're doing, and it's not, I think it's more of a family.
Paying it forward.
Because everybody's once been there.
Yeah. I mean, when Brant and I first started out, we were lucky enough to have people that were seasoned veterans, and the best thing you can do is listen. Just listen to everything they say, and then just take it in, and then process it in your own times. Ask questions when you can, and never get that negative attitude where it's like, my food's better or whatever. You know what I mean? And just that guy's just filling me full of shit. It's not. It's knowledge is the key when it comes to barbecue. The more knowledge you have.
Join things like the barbecue league, like things like that. I tell people all the time who are new, especially on those competition pages. I'm like, follow as many pro teams as you can. Look at their boxes, then you kind of get an idea of what you're going up against, and it's just.
We post our boxes every week.
We do. People think I'm crazy, but I've always told him, I said, why are we keeping it secret? This is what we do. When we first started, I said, this is why we're doing this, Yeah. So if it works for us and it works for someone else, good. Then we helped them out.
No, I couldn't agree more. I see we got Chris Schaefer on here. Guys like that, all the top teams like yourselves. You can't be scared of it. They've got to cook it. You're not doing anything different. You're going to run your stuff. If somebody knows it, you usually know your little nuances of your smoker, how you want it, the tenderness. I know I heard Heath Riles one time at a contest. He said, I will tell you everything that I do, and I'll still kick your butt with it, because he knows that cook. So, no, I great answer. Great. I just wanted to find out exactly if you guys did that, because, a new cook doesn't want to come up. They want to ask, but they're scared to ask. You got some teams that won't tell you anything. You got some teams that'll literally open the playbook. And just wanted to put it out there for all the new people watching. Hey, look, ask questions. They're not going to tell you anything they don't want you to know. And
exactly.
If they tell you, then they don't mind it. So, look, these guys, most of them are friendly. We're going to say most. There's not many out there that I've run across that I would say, hey, don't go ask that person. Maybe Hank when I first met him, and that's a little inside joke. But other than that, Hank, what's your advice, sir? Because me and you talk all the time about this.
Well, I'm a little, as far as the cooking process, I'm an open book kind of like Keith, I'll tell you anything I do, show you the whole thing. The biggest advice I'd give to a new team is take a damn class. That Learn While You Earn program will cost you money in the long run. It'll hurt your feelings.
Amen.
Because you're going to constantly second guess yourself on, well, what the hell are these guys doing that I'm not doing? But the class will get you the details and the fine tuning points of the things you need to do, like how to place stuff in a box, how to look at uniformity. The cooking part's easy. Barbecue's a craft, and if we don't help the younger teams out, the craft will go away. And like they said, you're not going to get rich doing this shit. It's not one of those things where you're going to make a ton of money. Now, the end results, you can take it wherever you want. I was fortunate enough to open up Hank's Barbecue. We do a restaurant. But, it's kind of where you want to go with it. But I do it mainly for the competitive side of it. That's how I got into it. I went to one. A lot of my buddies were doing, seeing how competitive they could be with getting drunk. And I was looking at these other teams, and I'm like, shit, I can cook as good as they can. And that's kind of how it transitioned for me. I wasn't about the party. So I started cooking with a guy, and I cooked with Magnolia Smokers from 96 to 2000. And then we started Hank's Barbecue in 2000.
Very nice.
But yeah, I would tell anybody, take a class. I don't give a damn whose class it is. Take a class. You can't never learn too much. First time you think you know everything, you get your ass handed to you.
Yep.
I agree wholeheartedly. Absolutely. Josh, have you guys taken classes? You don't have to say which one, but have you kind of taught yourself, or have there been videos that you've watched coming in?
No.
How do you get where you are now, I guess is what I'm asking.
We took quite a few classes. One of the first ones was like a beginning 101 barbecue, taught by one of our good friends, Big Ugly. Used to be part of Three Eyes back in the day. It was just a very basic tips and tricks and this kind of, just the basics, right? So we took that and then took little things we learned from him and took it to the next level. And then a couple years ago, I took Checker Flag 500s class. Brant took Old Virginia Smokes class because, all East Coast classes. And then I think Brant took Michael Fay's class, a Pork Lips Now's class. Which really helped us kind of elevate our game before moving back to Kansas City. Since I've been back to Kansas City, I have not taken a class. I've wanted to. We joined Barbecue League.
Yep.
It was kind of flavor profiles out in the Midwest are a little different from on the East Coast. So it was kind of trial by error to kind of find where exactly that was, listening, talking to people, kind of
scouring. I was scouring every barbecue video and stuff when we were on lockdown because I was like, we got to change this, because it's a different flavor profile. And we did our first one in 2019 in October together, where it was just him and I, and we threw out all of his East Coast. It hit kind of, but not where we wanted to hit. And that's when we totally revamped our brisket. It's a brisket there, and brisket here is completely different. So that was a lot of trial and error. And if we could have taken a class during that time, I probably would have 100% signed up for one to make it easier on us.
I think we cooked a brisket every weekend for like the whole winter.
The whole winter.
Whole winter.
Well, you guys led into something that I'm not the host of this show all the time. I'm just filling in tonight. So I like to pick the brains of experienced teams. And I will ask you, because every time I look up, I see Pig and Whiskey or Pig and Whiskey OG. You're in Mississippi, you're in Kansas, you're in West Virginia, you're in Wisconsin. So the profiles better than most. When we ask these questions, sometimes we kind of get a general statement. Give us a rundown of what you feel are the profiles. If you go to, let's say, Wisconsin, what is that? Because I'm looking to go out as a cook team. I'm looking to go travel more. If you're doing Oklahoma, if you're doing South Carolina, kind of fill us in on that if you don't mind.
So what we discovered.
Minnesota likes mayonnaise.
No.
No, it's a joke. That's a joke.
What we discovered was like up north is a sweeter profile. Not really like, it's more of like a honey sweet I would say though, not like a, I don't know. We've messed with it. We've cooked in Minnesota now twice. There was only one sauce that we did a minor adjustment to make it sweeter because it was more on the vinegary side, and it showed. So I think Wyoming was the same way. They like sweeter profiles. Down Oklahoma. Any Oklahomans, I'm sorry if I offend you, but I don't know what y'all like because it goes.
You see the score sheets. Day 1, everybody's where they should be. Day 2, everybody's upside down.
It's the weirdest. I swear to God, it's the weirdest thing, and I've just chalked it up to the fact that they're right above Texas, right below Kansas City, and right across from the South. So they don't know what they want.
Well, we're coming to Oklahoma here in like a month or so. So I'm glad you made that. Let me know.
Yeah, it's so my recommendation in Oklahoma is don't change anything. Just run with your profile because it's
hit your tenderness marks.
Because it's a tough state down there. We cooked in Texas and they liked our food, our Kansas City profile food. We didn't really change anything there either. East Coast, that would be you.
East Coast is, it's
a little difficult.
The scores aren't where the Midwest scores are, which that makes it kind of aggravating. But it's tough when you get a 667 and it wins the whole contest. You kind of start thinking about yourself. I was like, was it my food that bad, or or the judges just taking those 9s home with them and going to bed with them? So
absolutely. Well, Hank, I know you're going to be jumping around doing a little more. Are you going to stick here, or you trying to expand? What's your future plans on the barbecue circuit?
We're still gonna bounce around between the MBN. They should kick off in the fall. I still love cooking the whole hogs and all that. We're gonna do some KCBS stuff. You know damn good and well I don't change my flavor profile. I run what I run. If it hits, it hits. But hell, my memory's damn short. I can't remember what I did yesterday, let alone what I did 2 weeks ago. So that's why we got a chalkboard with a smiley face in it. But
I did see that.
We're gonna cook a little bit of. Kind of depends on what the work side of things. Right now, it's a damn challenge to get product to cook every day, and my focus is going to be at Hank's Barbecue more so than running the roads trying to cook comps.
Yeah,
and that's one of the drawbacks of owning a restaurant. But that's kind of where we're at. We'll cook what we can when we can. If I see you out there, don't come to my trailer, Wes. But yeah, we're gonna cook.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it for sure. So whenever I want to continue asking you, since you've been so successful, I think you're batting 1,000 this year on your wins. What was so different from when you started getting back into it to the most recent? What did you do different?
You're referencing the Kansas City style of things?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. So when we first started cooking Kansas City back whenever, we kind of did what we did with the Memphis style barbecue. Well, when we come back to Kansas City and we cooked a few in, I think it was 2019, 4 or 5, everybody started kind of talking to us about unoffensive barbecue. And I'm like, what the hell is unoffensive barbecue as a flavor profile? So we've kind of figured that out. Unoffensive, great flavor. If I'm going to do what I do, and if it hits, it hits. But I'm gonna kind of go to the beat of my own drum. I'm not gonna try to trail somebody else. I'm not gonna look at you and say, Wes, what the hell are you cooking? Let me taste it. We're just gonna take our chances and our punches as we go.
Fair enough. Absolutely, it's the way to do it. Now I know what type of sauces, rubs you're using. It's got your name on it. Josh, Ashton, I mean, do y'all swap up year to year? Do y'all just kind of change it throughout the year? Do y'all have a plan in the beginning to say, we're running this unless it just fails? We're going to run it this year. We'll make tweaks. How do you go about it? Because when I go, if I don't hit, 3 or 4 contests, sometimes it happens a good bit, I'm changing. What's your philosophy on that?
No wholesale changes is our philosophy. So if
minor tweaks, we always say our base rubs we feel are solid. So then it's maybe a sauce tweak here, or a sauce tweak there, or a finish dust here, or not. You know what I mean? That's probably the only things that we kind of we kind of tweaked last year.
Sure.
And we kind of ran the same. We're running the same profile as we did last year, minus a tweak here and a tweak there. You know.
And I'm with them. I think that's what you got to do. You can't make big changes. You may make a lot of tweaks.
Yeah.
But you don't. If you ever start making big changes, hell, you can't get back to where you once were. You won't know what the hell you're
You never know where you're at or what change you made a difference, or which one hurt you, which one helped you. So,
and I don't give a damn what contest you go to. There's going to be that one judge that gives you scores that you think he's a damn idiot or she's a damn idiot, whomever it may be, and you're going to question it. But you can't do that. You know, I mean, you just lick your wounds and go on to the next one. Kind of do like I did, sling them out the damn window.
The one thing that, you know, we have a lot of judge friends that are on the East Coast, and they kind of took me under their wing when we first started, and actually showed me exactly how to digest the score sheet, how to look at the table number, how they tracked all day long, how each judge tracked all day long to see, was it just one, like you said, asshole judge that screwed up everybody, or is it, you know, or is it just they don't like pork or they don't like chicken or what? So, you know, it takes me about 30 seconds to look at the sheet. They get mad, throw them in there, and then the next day.
Then Wednesday you're looking at them again till Friday.
Yeah.
That's why I just throw the damn things out the window so I don't have that tendency.
Yeah, no,
it will drive you batshit crazy.
We actually kept all of ours from last year and went through all of our score sheets over the winter and saw where, like, what season or like what month we did good in and what month we did bad in. And we're noticing a trend with heat versus cold, like spring versus summer. And fall.
Spring and fall, you know, they seem to not like our chicken sauce as much, but during the summer months, they loved it. Now, whether that's, you know, us looking too far into that rabbit hole or there is some truth to it, because, you know, if it's nice and sunny outside, you can be a little bit more daring with your flavor profiles, I think.
Absolutely. Running into that a lot here recently. So would you say we're going to go on even to the brisket side? Do you have a summer brisket, what I call a summer brisket program, or other stuff? You go a little saltier, winter you back off of it, or do you just kind of what are you doing there? I know a lot of people that run on their briskets during the summer, they run a little saltier. They back it off as it gets colder. Obviously, you want to look at your judges. So just, again, for the new teams that may be watching, just kind of give them an insight of how we think about things.
Yeah, I think we run a little bit sweeter, and a little saltier in the summer months. Yeah, I think that's a great assessment of kind of where our program's at.
I'm trying to pick and just get some things out of here. I'm not going to ask you. Just hold your notes up to the camera and just turn them as everybody can learn.
Hey, I'd like you to take the sheets out of the trailer, but my trailer's sitting up in South Dakota, so trailer's not even here.
Unreal.
We definitely do more. For example,
go ahead, right ahead.
On the colder cooks, we use Smoky Mountain Blues Hog for our brisket. In the summer hot, we do straight original, and it does change things. Right. And it does. Here, you can watch the playback.
Yeah. Taking notes.
No, I mean, and that's just like, it's weird how it works, and it's something that we do without even thinking about it. It's just something we do. Like
our chicken sauce, we go full strength in the summertime, and when it gets colder, we're backing off and going a little sweeter on it because it's colder outside. They don't want that. You know, our chicken's got a little bit of
a vinegary
punch to it. Yeah. So it's like it's one of those. It's different, but it's very good.
Small trial and error. Yeah. That we've learned that, like I said, you follow your score sheets. Maybe you don't have to get as crazy as we do with it, because we obviously have a lot of time on our hands. And when we said that out loud, it makes me feel weird. But I'm sure people are like, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah, a little too much.
Yeah.
Now, well, good. I wanted to ask you, Hank, I know you're starting. You're not reformulating anything. Your flavor profiles on your sauces, your rubs are stay the same. but I guess I would say you're maybe pushing a little harder now where you were really worried about the restaurant. Explain to everybody what you have in your arsenal with the Hank's products. Give us a rundown.
As far as an arsenal, we've got 7 different rubs. We've got an AP, we've got some barbecue rubs, got some different variations, different flavors, and the sauces are kind of a cross between a vinegar and a tomato base. Again, I may tweak a little sugar here and there, but I'm not going to change up shit because I'm just not going to do it because I don't have time to be playing that much. And to each his own on that, as far as that goes. But as far as what we're doing with the rubs and the sauces, again, like I told you in the beginning, and as well, you know me well enough, I've never really wanted to push my products. The products I did for me to make it easier for me. Instead of buying a bunch of shit and making rubs together, it's a whole lot easier to buy rubs. Well, they've been pretty successful for what we do. And as I said, my son has shown a real big interest in wanting to get into this. And he wants to get back he started traveling with me again, doing some comps. Went to Memphis in May with me, and he's got excited. He's going to be doing college, and he wants to take Hank's products and run with that. And I'm cool with that. I don't have the time to it, so we're not really reformulating anything. We're going to do a marketing push. We're going to do a little tweaking to the labels to make them a little more eye friendly, but we're going to put them out there in every damn store you can imagine. We'll even be in Dollar General before it's over with.
You definitely. There's 3 that just popped up since you said.
Yeah, if we can get in all the Dollar Generals, we'll be good.
Or half of them, you'd be great.
Half of them, great, because there's one on every street corner.
Well, let me ask you then. We're going to try to get a little bit out of you. You don't have to tell your secrets. So if somebody was coming in and they wanted to run Hank's products in the competition side, and I mean KCBS, because I don't know much about MBN, what's something you would say, hey, I would use some of these? You may have one that is just more of, hey, this is more of your table sauce. What's some of your top ones you would run?
Well, a flavor profile is what you want it to be. You know what you think the judges want, so you got to kind of pick what you think is going to hit. I'd recommend my championship barbecue rub, or with a combination of my sweet or either my sweet heat. Any of those are great for anything. On the beef side of things, I'd use my AP and my brisket rub. They go really well, savory with the beef. And of course, my sauces, like I said, they're it's a vinegar base / tomato base. You can sweeten that up, or you can run vinegar base. I mean, that's all up to you on how you want to tweak it. But my stuff is kind of in the middle of the road. Yeah. You saw that in Brookhaven, right? In the middle of the road.
I thought it had to be pretty excellent. So, had to
one
be.
of those non-offensive barbecue.
Unoffensive barbecue. When I first heard that, I'm like, what the hell is unoffensive barbecue? And if it's burn up and tastes like lighter fluid, I understand that's offensive. But if you usually choke it down, that's okay with me.
Right.
But one of the things we were talking about with the judges, and we've discussed this, you and I have, me and a lot of people have. The problem, I think, is the educational factor for the judges. You got judges that learned years ago how they were told to judge. Judges in the middle of the road was judged this way, and then now you're telling them to do this way. Everybody's got to get consistent on the judging. I think if they'll do that and they'll increase the educational and do that, you'll see scores get a lot better overall throughout the country, not just in general areas.
I don't think I can agree with you anymore. Go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
No, it's good. I also think that the processes needs to be looked at. If we're cooking in Wyoming, the second we set our box down, I want it to be handled exactly the same way, whether it's in Wyoming, Mississippi, Texas, whatever, right?
Yep.
And I think that
we learned a lot last year with
traveling,
how much we traveled, how different each region did things, which even were kind of like, what in the world? This is all one organization. It shouldn't be this different. So it was kind of an eye-opener.
That kind of goes back to not just the judges, to the reps of the contest. They all need to do it the same exact way. That is the most important part. And we've seen that not only in KCBS, you see it a lot in the Memphis Barbecue Network. And not hating on nobody, but I mean, everybody's got to do it the same way because it's going to affect us.
Yeah.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you're right. The only control that we have is putting that box down, and then it's out of our control, right?
Exactly.
So we just wanted to be treated the same way that, we took the time and effort into putting it there, that it gets back to the judges the same way, right?
Exactly. And, one of the other things, back in the old days, don't say nothing, Wes, about the old days, but, you know, we was always, and I've cooked for a lot of different judges classes or training classes, whatever you want to call them, KCBS and NBN. And I've always heard give the cooks the benefit of the doubt. I mean, if you're cooking in shit weather and there's a piece of parsley out of the way, don't gig their ass on something like that.
Yep.
I mean, give the cooks the benefit of the doubt.
We 100% recommend if a team gets an opportunity to cook a judges class, because we did that in December. It's tough as hell because we had to put out 48 boxes in an hour and a half. But just even talking to those new judges, like we got a chance to talk to them at the end of it, and they didn't know we cooked a whole brisket for
6-7 slices.
Yeah, they did. Or like 4 racks of ribs. One lady at the front was just completely floored that we cooked 4 racks of ribs for 6 pieces, 6, bones. And we're like, yeah, so we put a lot of time and effort into this. This isn't something that we cook a rack of ribs, throw it in a box and call it a day, And I think it's things like that, the judges' education, to kind of understand where we're coming from too. So when you take home that 9, as Josh says, what are you going to do? Sleep with it? Nothing you're going to do is going to. So it's definitely.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, and like the judges classes, one of the things when we do cook a class, I will never use any of my products. I won't per se do a cook profile. I'll go get some shit from the store. We may use Weber's, we may use whatever, but I don't want to plant a seed in no judge's head. This is what you're supposed to taste at every cook.
Right.
Smart. That's actually a very, very good point. Absolutely. So
I may give them a couple of $100 so they remember me, but I won't ever.
It doesn't work. We tried that.
Yeah, we lined that box with $100 bills. It doesn't work.
20s in the corner. Absolutely.
We just take the money and run.
But yeah, I think the education side of it from the reps to the new judges needs to. And shit, I can't even talk. Emily has made several comments that KCBS is really working toward education on both sides of it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they're trying to get it more uniform. Look, these guys are trying to get it back. I think we lost a lot of judges during COVID, some that just got out of it completely. They're trying to bring in and revamp. So they're definitely trying to get it back to where it was, where I think it was more consistent. I know they went away. What was it? They went to the chip draw, I believe. You get different opinions on that.
Don't get us started on that.
Yeah, we're past that, because if I ask 2 teams, I'm going to get 2 totally different answers. Someone loves it, someone hates it. So I've got my opinions I'll leave out of it. But just talking with the cook side of things, not to try to stay controversial or anything, do you guys, we were talking about the sauces, the flavors, and again, I'll ask both you guys, when you travel, is tenderness different? Is it just a flavor profile? Does some regions like it a little tighter? They like it a little over? What are you seeing out there?
Go ahead, Tank. Go ahead. That's all you.
No, I'm sorry. In that perspective, if I know it's not 100% CBJ, I'm going to always cook a little over, because most people that have eaten barbecue and down here in the South want smoke, kind of heavy, and a little on the mushy side. My customers that come in here want ribs that'll fall off the bone. Now, I won't do that, but I'm always going to go a little over if I know I'm not 100 CBJ. But then again, if it is 100%, I'm going to try to hit my tenderness, but my flavor profiles I'll never change, other than maybe add some sugar to my sauce.
Absolutely. Good answer. Josh, Ashton, anything?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
No,
yeah. Good job, Hank.
I was going to say, if we know it's not 100% CBJ, we're probably going to cook it a little more over than what we normally would.
And if it's cold outside, we'll cook it, for the room temperature, knowing it's going to tighten up. I think that's a big thing, you know.
But for the most part, he's 100% right. That's how we usually run it. One of our first questions when we get to a contest is, do you have 100% CBJ? Sometimes you get a little curveball thrown at you where they just trained 60 judges the night before.
Yeah.
So there you are again. You may have certified judges, but they're not seasoned certified judges.
Yep. So that's a tough one to play with, but for the most part, we haven't found any too different in different regions where our tenderness is off, unless it's something that we did and we know we did it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely agreed. So
it's definitely different cooking in Wyoming where the elevation is higher, and that will play with your mind a little bit.
Does that really make it? I've heard people say you need to start earlier. Sometimes you can't get the brisket where you wanted to. I listened to an old round table. What is that like? I mean, that's just kind of.
I was freaking out. I was freaking out because everyone was like, "Oh, you're in elevation," and I was like, "Josh, we gotta figure this out." But we found it was a higher temp, but you still, when you cook to feel, which what we do is cook to feel. We shouldn't have even worried about the temperature, Right. So the thermopop said the brisket was way hotter than what we normally cook it to, but the feel was the same. So
great info.
We had the same problem you were talking about in Indiana. The cook was different. The cookers were acting like crazy as hell, and you'd probe it, but it feel. I'm like you. I'm a cook to feel guy. I don't trust the damn temp probe. But it was a fight with the smokers. And even barometric pressure and humidity will screw with that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But a lot of people don't know that. But we was up there and we were like, damn, it's a struggle to keep these cookers up to 250. But yet everything was cooking like it was supposed to. That was the weird part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ask your wife if she'd fix me a drink too.
No, I wish she was making a drink. She's got water.
we're just wondering now every time she gets up if it's labor, we need to cut the show off.
We got the dogs. It's 90-something degrees outside. They want to go out. They want to come in.
I get a kick out of these guys talking about 90-something degrees. I would love 90 degrees. We've got 94 with 100% humidity. Look at Wes's hair, how frizzy it is.
It is. I got to go to a little better conditioner.
Jeez.
So, no, that's great information. Again, anyone, if you guys got any questions for these teams before we get out of here, now I'm not trying to rush them out, definitely ask. I think you could tell. No, I think you could tell. They'll tell you pretty much anything you want to know right now. And that's the great thing about these two. You can ask them. They're going to let you know. They're not going to hold back. Again, you got to cook the meat, cook the protein. And I'm guessing, again, you guys are using top protein. Snake River Farms, you're using the A9s on brisket, Duroc, or are we doing Allegiance? What are we doing on just let everybody know kind of the proteins each one of you guys are using.
We do Prairie Fresh pork, so our butts and our ribs are Prairie Fresh. Yeah. And our chicken we get locally sourced from a grocery store here in the Kansas City area called Hen House, which it's fresh, never frozen. And we've gotten to know our chicken butcher pretty well.
So he weighs all of our chicken for us. Yeah.
So wait a minute, he's weighing your chicken for you. This guy's amazing.
So
Josh has them pretty well trained. He calls them up and I need 25 of them. Okay.
Here's another tip for leg people that don't know it. Start with a chicken leg quarter.
Don't do legs you buy at the store.
Start with the leg quarter, knock your leg off. That way your skin will flap over and when it pulls back.
It looks like a fake chicken leg because you'll get that nice rounded edge and not the chicken that comes down.
That is a great piece of information right there.
You write that down?
Absolutely. I can't do a chicken leg to save my life, so you have no worries about that.
I bet you could. I bet you could.
I'm sure after many practices, I can't. And I think a chicken leg, if you ask most teams, one that is cooked perfect cannot be beat by anything. But I feel a thigh has a little more give on each side of it, so I played the safe route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said Snake River Farms again on brisket. Hank, you're still using Piggly Wiggly meat?
Yeah, I get it. Roadkill if we can. I don't do the Snake Rivers. I use 1855s on my beef. Chicken, of course, yeah, we do a little dump. We got the Prairie Fresh also. Go Prairie Fresh. Pork, the premium pork, and the same for the ribs. But I like chicken legs because they're easy, but I've also heard there's kind of two sides of it. Heard some folks say that the judges think, the chicken thigh looks a little more inviting versus the leg, but if I ain't got 100 CBJ, everybody needs a damn handle to eat, so I'll do a chicken leg just to make it easy.
Smart. Very smart. So what about getting meat, guys? So I couldn't go to Win Arkansas this past weekend because I was having an issue getting some proteins in. Are y'all running into that? The cost, what are you seeing out there?
So we took an insider about, 3 months ago. We knew this pork shortage was coming. So we bought some cases of pork. So my freezers are full of butts and ribs that, we use.
And the other thing is we're sponsored by KC Grilling Company here in Kansas City. And they do a great job keeping briskets in stock, pork in stock. They don't carry chicken, but they got ribs, they got pork. They always have it. Sometimes it comes in late, but they make sure the teams are well stocked, and Kansas City in this area is well stocked with pork and briskets and ribs. So
it's good to have.
But it is expensive right now. I was looking at some of the other teams posting about Restaurant Depot prices. I was like, holy crap.
It's not only expensive. I mean, it is difficult to get them. I feel the workers out there, from what I heard, it's not what was it we were talking about? It's not a shortage in meat. It's a shortage of getting it to you.
Yeah, I was talking to Josh Hodap today with Prairie Fresh, and there's no shortage in pork, but unfortunately, and we won't get into all of the political things of it, but people, they've got a shortage of employees. I mean, they're working the hell out of the people they've got just to get out. And we've even seen some allocations on products, like I'll order 1,000 pounds of Boston butts and I'll only get 500 pounds for the restaurant. So you're having to order from multiple food sources just to get your stuff. Yeah. And at some point, and for him, this is probably going to go into September, you may end up having to cook some Piggly Wiggly meat because it's just gotten so difficult.
Hank will be sponsored by Piggly Wiggly by the next show, guys.
Food giant, Publix, whomever. But I mean, really, it's a challenge right now, and that's another reason I'm, more concerned with Hank's barbecue than I am cooking a comp, is because this is what lets me go cook comps. But the meat costs, you're seeing jumps of 25 to 45 cents a week in pork, and it's tough.
Yeah. It absolutely is. So I'm running into it. I've had that issue. I think it's going to hurt a lot of teams coming forward. They're going to have to either slow down or really, really come out of pocket, just to get some proteins to cook at these comps. So we'll see how that works out. And Hank, I know you got your stuff. Josh, Ashton, you guys coming out with, you're doing your rubs. You're going to do some salsas. I see you looking. So I'm going to say yes. And that's going to break Win.
We've talked about it.
It's happening.
If we
it won't be this year.
It won't be this year.
It might be early next year. But, we're going to take some time off when the baby's born. So we think.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
One time.
2 weeks, yeah. And then, we'll be at the Royal. We'll be at the KCBS Worlds. We're fortunate enough to have a couple polls for the Jack. So hopefully we'll get a poll for the Jack. So.
But other than that, we've talked about doing rubs and sauces. We've had several people ask about it. I know, again, that's a long process. So it's something that we need to be 100% dedicated to want to do it. And I don't know, like I said, with a newborn, we might have the time now to do that instead of jumping in the car and going to Nebraska like we are this weekend. We won't be able to do that as easy. So.
Very true. Well, that's great news. Hey, I know you talked about your son, Houston. When is he expecting to kind of take over this thing? When are you trying to line him up to get a jump start on Hank's products?
Well, he's already kind of started some. He's going to work with our marketing people throughout the fall. He's doing, of course, he's got to go to college, and we're going to do that no matter what. But he's already began the working process with the marketing folks. He's down here at the restaurant every day. He's going to, like I said, travel with us some more, and he's going to learn it. And he's done this his whole life, but till you really get interested in it, you're just going with dad or getting the hell away. But he's gotten really interested in the cooking process. He's going to learn basically every facet of it, from loading the damn trailer to prepping the meat to how the products are made. He's got to learn every facet. He's not going to be a salesman like some that just go in with a sheet and say, here's my price list.
Sure. Very, very good. Well, I definitely don't want to hold you guys up too long. I know we're right at an hour. If you got anything you want to let any of these teams know about yourself, I will say this much. If you do not follow Pig and Whiskey OG on TikTok, their social media, watch Josh do some of his dancing. I'm telling you, go do it now. It is one of the best watches you'll see. Was floored with it. He somewhat decent dancer. I think he can sing pretty good. You catch Hank at a show and he's been a couple of drinks in and got to sing. He dances pretty good too. Sings out pretty decent. Again, I will say, great group of guys and gals, and make sure you come up to them, chat with them when you see them out next. They're willing to help you any way they can. We got to grow the sport. We don't want to see it dwindle. I know we have taken a dip due to COVID, but if you see these guys, these teams, go introduce yourself. I'm telling you, they'll help you any way they can. If not, you might even get some rub from Hank. I know he hands that stuff out like crazy.
Wait, what?
He doesn't do that. I just wanted to see if I got a response out of him.
You'll get some moonshine from us.
I'm making, Josh, you didn't give me any of that last time we met. So
that's because he had
Mama put me on lockdown.
He had a little too much, and he had to get it taken away.
How many grands has that cost you guys?
You don't want to know, and I don't want to talk about it.
But a good time was had, right?
Yes.
It's so good when it touches your lips.
Well, we now need to get Hank on TikTok. We can do the little dance videos back and forth.
Hank, Wes, you've made everybody aware that Hank's an old guy. I'm still learning what the hell TikTok is.
We'll get you lined up.
It's not a watch. I figured that out.
Right. Well, no, thank you guys for coming on and just sharing, just conversating, about this great sport we have that we actually are very passionate about. We love. I know people all over the country know who you guys are. There may be one or two teams out there or somebody just getting into it, just want to, know who you are, familiarize themselves with you. So when they see you at a contest or walking through, they can come up and speak with you. Awesome job, guys. Anything else before we leave?
I'm not getting married at the Royal, so you can let the people in the comments know that.
Well, look, I'm coming to the Royal this year, and I better see the wedding, and I hope that I'm around it. I'll throw the rice or whatever we need to do. I'm expecting there to be a wedding at the Royal.
I did see a video about a flower guy. I'd like to try that.
Okay.
Hey, if you come to the Royal, you can be the flower guy.
Hank is coming to the Royal this year. He's there. We're coming together. I said, you're coming to the Royal this year.
Tentatively planned, yes, we will be at the Royal.
So, absolutely. No. We'll get this.
All right, then. You better get the little bouquet of flowers ready to go.
And your little Daisy, you have to be in Daisy Dukes, otherwise you can't be our flower boy.
Hey, a few drinks in me, I'll do that shit naked.
All right, no wedding at the Royal. That's we're ending the show on a great comment here. So, hey, thank you guys again, everyone, for joining, asking questions. And if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. I just wanted to make sure we got the information out there. But look, tune in next time to Chewin the BBQ Fat. Appreciate it again, and see you out there on the trail.
Thank you, Wes.
Thanks, guys.